Hello, my name is Punawat Punchong from II Section 2, 660-11173, and today I will be walking you through the work I did in Robotics Lab 3. This lab covered a lot of exciting concepts related to AI and robotics. Specifically, I will be covering four main topics: TinyML, edge device, prompt engineering, and computer vision. I will explain what each of these topics is, how I work with them, and show you some real-world applications that make this technology so important. Let's start with TinyML, which stands for Tiny Machine Learning. TinyML is all about learning machines, learning models on a small device with limited processing power and memory. These devices are often called edge devices, and they don't need constant internet access to work, which is a huge advantage when it comes to privacy and efficiency. In my lab work, I use a microcontroller called the Arduino Nano 30T BLE Sense. This small device had built-in sensors, including a microphone, accelerometer, and gyroscope, which make it perfect for applications that need to process data locally without relying on cloud device. I began by collecting data from these sensors, like sounds or movements, and then I used a tool called Edge Impulse Studio to create a machine learning model. This model was trained to recognize specific patterns in the data, like specific sounds or gesture. Like once the model was trained, I deployed it directly onto the Arduino board, allowing it to make predictions on the data it received from the sensors, all without needing to connect to the internet. In real-life application of TinyML include things like wearable health monitors that detect abnormal heart rates, smart home system that recognize voice commands, and even fitness trackers that can detect certain gestures or movements. TinyML is important because it makes devices smarter and more independent. It reduces the need for constant cloud communications, save energies, and help improve privacy, making it ideal for an IoT device like medical device and more. Next, let's start talk about the edge devices. Edge computing is the practice of running AI models directly on device rather than sending the data to cloud for the processing. This brings several benefits like faster response times, reduced bandwidth cost, and better privacy since the data doesn't leave the device. In this part of the lab, I work with YOLO, which is an advanced object detection model. YOLO, which stands for You Only Look Once, is a real-time model that can detect multiple objects in a single image really quickly. This makes it perfect for applications where you need to detect objects in real time, like surveillance systems or autonomous vehicles. To put this into practice, I create a custom object detection models. I start by collecting a dataset of images containing objects like phones and wallets. I use RoboFlow, a tool for generating data, and to annotate the images and prepare them for training. Once the models was trained, I deployed it on a Jetson Nano, a small yet powerful edge device designed for real-time AI processing. Like, I also test the model on my laptop and the Jetson Nano. The model was able to detect the objects in real time from a webcam feed, and I was able to fine-tune the detection by adjusting the confidence thresholds. In real-life applications for edge devices include things like smart security cameras that detect or track people, drones that identify objects in the environment, and retail systems that automatically check out customer based on product detections. Edge computing is transforming industry by and like enabling device to make intelligent decisions on their own without needing constant communication with the cloud. It's fast, efficient, and work in areas where cloud access might be limited. Now, let's move on to prompt engineering, which is an essential skill for working with the generative AI models like GPT-4 or ChatGPT. A prompt is simply the input you give to the AI, and how well you craft that input determines how well the AI will respond. Think, think of it like asking the right question to get the right answers. In this part of the lab, I learned that prompt engineering involves carefully structuring your prompts to guide the AI toward the desired outcomes. For example, if you want the AI to solve a math problems, you might need to break it down into like smaller steps to help the models process it logically. One of the techniques I use is called chain of thought. In COT prompting, I ask the AI to break down a problem step by step, which helps it listen to the task more effectively. For instance, instead of just asking how many apples are left, I would ask the AI at first to calculate how many apples were used and then how many apples are left after purchasing more. This makes the AI listening process clearly and more accurate. Another method I explore in the interview pattern prompting, where I structure the prompts like an interview by asking questions and then following up with the more detailed ones. I was able to get richer, more comprehensive answers from the AI. This method is particularly useful for getting the AI to explain complex concepts in details. In real life applications of prompt engineering are everywhere, like in customer service, chatbots use prompt engineering to interact with the users and solve problems. In content creator, prompt engineering is used to generate articles, social media posts, or even script for video. In coding, AI-powered coding assistants use prompt engineering to help programmers write better code and faster. Understanding how to craft prompts is a key skill when working with the AI systems. By optimizing how we communicate with the AI, we can improve its like usefulness and make it more aligned with our goals. Finally, Let's discuss computer vision, which enables machine to understand and process visual information in the lab. In the lab, I work with the MQCV, a net wrapper for the OpenCV image processing. It's the library using C Sharp. I built the application for object detection, face detection, and optical character recognition. For object detection, I use SSV color filtering to detect objects based on their colors. I use convert image from RGB to HSV, set a color threshold, and then create a binary mask to isolate the image or the objects. This technique is useful in the situations where you need to identify specific objects based on their colors, like sorting products on an assembly line. For face detection, I use the HAAR, like Cascade Classifier. This is a machine learning based method that can detect face in real time. I connect the webcam to my PC and then the system could detect face from the video stream, which was done as a green rectangle on the screen. This is widely used in the security system, for example, to recognize face in the surveillance footage. Lastly, I worked on the optical character recognition, where I used Tesseract, an open source OCR engine, to extract text from images. I set up a GUI in C Sharp that allowed the user to load an image and then process it and display to the recognized text in a text box. OCR is important for automating document processing, like scanning the business cards or reading the license plates. In real life applications of computer vision are numbers like face recognition for security, OCR for digitizing books or invoice, and object detection for autonomous vehicles and industrial automations. To summarize, Robotic Lab 3 has been an incredible, insightful experience. I work with TinyML to deploy machine learning models on small devices, experiment with the edge device for real-time objects detections, learn to the art of prompt engineering to improve AI response, and develop computer vision applications for object detection, face recognition, and OCR. In the future, I plan to refine this model for better accuracy, expand my knowledge in deep learning, and explore how this system can be integrated into more complex robotics applications. Thank you for watching my summary of the labs, and I hope you found informative. If you have any question, you can ask me. And thank you again for your time. I look forward to discussing this exciting topic with you further.